here. And what I'll do is just introduce myself. And how do you say your last name?
Aalerud.
Aalerud. Okay.
Yes. Don't worry. No one knows how to say it. That's why I'm AA real estate. So.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Aalerud. All right. So I'll introduce myself and then you, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right.
Sounds great.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name's Justin here at Call Porter. I'm the CEO. And today I've got Nick Aalerud, one of our customers here, who's been a longtime customer of ours, kind of going over just a few questions with him here. So Nick, kind of first things first, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and kind of where you're at in your business to get started.
Sure, Justin. Thanks for having me. So, based in the greater Boston area, southern New Hampshire and greater Boston, and we are a fix and flip company. We're a wholesale company. We also have a whole bunch of buy and holds in 4 different states. So we're kind of, I guess, like a lot of the people who work with you guys.
kind of got a mixture of different things going on, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That's our primary business. Yep.
Perfect. And how long have you been in the REI industry?
Been in business since 2005, where I had a lot of people, I default to, you can edit this out, but 2005, period.
Okay.
And if you want to know, I have Bigger Pockets articles, started with a terrible, terrible experience with my first 5 deals in real estate. It's all on Bigger Pockets. People can look there. Okay. I don't know what you wanted me to share, and I apologize because, podcast world, they love that stuff. But in this world, it's probably just like straight to the point, like you're going to do a 2-minute testimonial or something. So that's fine.
Okay, no problem. If we need to edit it out, we can. But I might go look some of that stuff up. So, all right. And so since 2005, so been in business for a long time now. What was your business like before you had someone handling your calls externally?
Oh my gosh. So I kind of progressed through the whole channels, right? So at first it was the business of me, which I guess most people go through, right? The solopreneur doing everything. So I actually didn't realize how much my business would have suffered. I didn't know any better. So when a call would come in, right, I was either focused on getting my marketing up organized and pulling data and pulling leads and putting it all to a nice little Google Sheets or Excel sheet and then executing on my direct mail. And when a call came in, right, you had to drop everything to take that call. And it became very harsh when I realized that my return time, my return to the task at hand time was very low, or very high rather. So every time the call came in, I would already have gone to like 8 other things with my ADD brain, and it was rough. But the calls were number one, right? Prospecting and taking in lead incoming calls. You could not let it go to voicemail, and that was where I started doing it myself. Okay. And then progressed into hiring help in my office. That was sort of it. This is before I really knew of any sort of call answering services out there. And we had someone, in-house that would help answer the phone. But of course, then if they weren't available, it came to me, right? And I, once again, at that point was trying to grow a brokerage business. We have a successful real estate brokerage also. And I was trying to grow a property management company. And every single time a prospect call came in, I would have to stop any sort of growth pattern and focus on that call once again. Yeah. So that was how life looked before.
Kind of get interrupted and get out of what you're working on and trying to jump back in.
Yes. Yep. Yes. Returning to task at hand. That was how quickly could you return to task at hand was my mantra back then, before I realized you could have other services such as yourselves. So
yeah. And so you guys did that for a long time, because I think you've been with us for about 2 years now. Is that about right?
That's correct. Yeah.
A long time. Yep. Having to manage the people inside the office, and then ultimately being your own backup at that point, right?
We did, yeah. And sorry, if you want me to share, we did use other call services. Do you want me to share that or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So in progression to and having people in-house do it, we did eventually find third-party answering services. And we're like, oh my gosh, thank God, at least someone can answer the phone. But honestly, and I'm not doing this, because you haven't offered to pay me yet, but I will say that, the two large national companies that we did use prior to using Call Porter, they served their purpose as far as the initial steps, trying to get me so that I could focus kind of on building that business and doing what I needed to do on a priority side. Because they were not focused on real estate, I found there's a huge curve there where I had to really, if they even let me help train their staff on what they were supposed to be saying or using my scripts and how they were supposed to talk to these sellers, it then became, cycling through different people in those firms because they were so used to either calling on like pharmacy drugs, or they were calling on, dog walking services, or they were calling in any sort of outbound calling they would also handle. So whenever a seller called them that was in kind of an emotionally unstable position, they didn't really know how to handle that. And that was costing me a tremendous amount of leads and money per month, and truly until, we heard through the grapevine that there was a company out there starting up that was going to focus only on the real estate segment. We're like, no way, get out of town. Let's see what they're all about. So
yeah, that's funny too. That's actually how my partner Ryan originally launched the business. Is he had gone through a couple of the others too, and ran into the same problem. He's like, they don't know, how to answer a probate question or a pre-foreclosure and stuff like that. And ultimately, we both come from the call center background, and so he had that crazy idea to just, all right, let's try our own thing and see how it works. And it's worked out really well since then. So, yeah, so it's been really good. And how would you say, outside of just having calls being answered for you, how would you say Call Porter has helped you in your business?
One of the main things that we really like, that was kind of an added bonus, is so now we've scaled up to, we do have what we call a lead manager, right? Mm-hmm. So we do still have someone in house that answers phones during their hours, but the moment they don't, or if they're busy on the line, if we're doing our business correctly and have multiple leads coming in at the same time, right? The rollover to your service is key. I love that your team doesn't just go through the script, take the information, and then email it out. Your team actually goes through and, using your automations, using however you confounded young people figure out technology, you found ways to actually like book the appointment for one of our acquisitions reps within our internal calendar. That's something that's unheard of. And that is essentially replacing, or it's a great addition to our lead manager role, because that's essentially what his job is, and you guys are fulfilling that actual role when he's not available. So that's incredible value add.
Awesome, that's cool. That's good to hear. I don't think I realized that, so that's really cool. But, I mean, it's an awesome feature, but I guess for me, I'm so used to seeing it all the time, I don't really think about it as much as being that beneficial outside of just kind of our normal scope of business that we do. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
How has or what has exceeded your expectations since you've worked with us?
I'd say that one is the primary one, as far as them actually being familiar with the real estate scripts and knowing kind of how to work through seller objections, right? Or at least a couple basic ones, and that's good enough, because that was kind of where the other companies were absolutely falling short, where they would just be easier to I don't quite understand how to answer that question, so I'm going to say something completely irrelevant, and then we're going to hang up the phone, and that lead just died, right? That was the other companies. Whereas you guys, your team knows how to kind of warm the seller, build that rapport, knows how to collect information while building the rapport. That's just something it's hard to train, right? It's while everyone has scripts, it's pretty hard to train people to do that, and you guys have been the ones that I've found to do that the best, so far.
Okay. Awesome. And one final question for you here, because we covered kind of a lot of the other ones in here unintentionally, so that works out well. Mm-hmm. But what piece of advice would you give to someone who is on the fence with using Call Porter? Because naturally we are more expensive than most of the others that are out there, including some of the ones that you used before. So what would you say would kind of be your one piece of advice to someone who is on the fence about going to us?
Oh gosh, absolutely. So, being at a certain level, right, when I was a solopreneur, to having one or two people helping in the office, to then having, multiple sources of outbound and inbound marketing and attracting as many leads as we possibly can, our business has truly become about cost per lead and cost per deal, right? And it, back when I was just doing it and I was trying to do, 8 to 10 deals a year, a lead falling through the cracks wasn't such a big deal, right? And especially if, I could usually always get to it at some point. There comes a point when you realize how much every lead is to you, especially in a competitive market like this one.
Hmm.
And truly, 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 when a lead falls through the cracks now, to us, our cost per lead, right, ranges anywhere from $150 to $650 a lead right now in this competitive market. And if you think about that, if there's someone who's not getting, who has to leave a voicemail, or is, then of course, if they leave a voicemail, good luck getting that person back on the phone again. You
Right,
just
right.
good luck. And that, $650 now down the toilet every single time. There's not someone actively there to answer that call, that doesn't just answer it, that is knowledgeable of that person's situation, that understands kind of how to build that relationship, build that rapport. And you can't get that. You truly can't get that. So what I'd say, from a financial benefit only, you know, uh, uh, cost per lead and cost per deal, if you use those two numbers and you know those as part of your business, and you should, if you are, a scaled real estate company, or looking to become a scaled real estate company, it's absolutely a no-brainer to have a company like yourselves that where you're not throwing $650 down the toilet every single time,
Right.
and someone knows how to, properly work that's a seller lead that you have. So
Perfect.
that's my 2 cents.
Great. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time today, hopping on and being willing to do an interview here real quick. So we always appreciate talking to you. It's always a good time every time we get to talk. So we're looking forward to continuing working with you.
You got it, Justin. Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick.